All right, so now we're going to do race 6, Yonkers, Saturday, February 18th. This is the Open, the big kahuna.
Yeah,
50,000 purse now. This is like the race every week. So pause that. So now let's set it up. You got a couple of weeks of you have Oliver Star and Red Hot Herbie. You've been driving Red Hot Herbie for a while now.
Yep.
And Oliver Star. Do you consider Andy and Julie invaders or
no.
that doesn't matter, right?
No, Andy and Julie, they gave me some really good drives when I first moved down here. So they're not invaders.
Yeah, you don't. The horse is good. Julie's good. Andy's good.
Yeah, they're great
people. You don't buy into that. He doesn't drive in every race, so he's an outsider.
No, it's Andy Miller and Julie Miller, so everybody knows them.
Now going into the race, this is the Open, so we have tough horses in here. You're assigned the 7-hole. All Star is assigned the 8-hole. Now, you beat All Star, what was it, sitting the 2-hole the week before?
Yep.
So he cut the mile, you sat at 2-hole, popped out, and blew his doors off.
Yep.
You blew his doors off.
Yeah.
You didn't win by a hat. Yeah. Now you got the 7-hole. Do you think that they assigned it right? Should you have gotten the 8-hole?
You know what? I think we drew for it.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I should read... if I would read what it says there,
so I was the lucky one.
So you got the lucky one.
Or was I?
Or were you? Yeah. So, did you expect All Star to take it easy or to leave? Or what was your?
Well, I don't. She's kind of aggressive, anyways, and I don't know if taking it easy is in her vocabulary. So,
women, right?
Huh?
Women,
something like that.
Yeah.
You said it.
I did. Yeah, that's right.
So, I figured she'd be going out of the gate to see what would happen.
Okay. Now, what about Herbie? Were you, so when you have, was Alaraj your biggest threat? Or
No.
Okay. So real quick, are you trying to kind of leave underneath him regardless to try to keep that horse?
Yeah, you know what? Like this race in particular, I wasn't really worried about Alaraj Star. I was more worried about, Jordan's horse.
Jordan has the 4, Springback Sam.
And the 2 horse,
and the 2
Newcastle
with Dan Dubé.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the 2 horses you're worried about. Did you think that...
Just early. I was worried about them early.
Early, okay. Yeah. So Herbie can leave?
He can leave really well, yeah. And, with the 7-hole, I thought I could time the gate pretty well and get him out of there, so...
Okay, anything else before the race starts we got to go over?
I thought the one...
The ... She's a tough little thing. Always seems to be there.
Yeah, I thought the 2 would loop the 1, and then I thought that Danny would push push the pace a little bit with Jordan because he would see me out there, and I thought I would land 3rd.
Okay.
That's honest truth.
Okay, so you thought you were going to land in front of ...
Mm-hmm.
And then were you looking to sit 3rd, or were you going to have to sneak
Depends on
out?
how it was going to play out early in the first turn. Either I was going to remove to the front, or
a lot of these
to see what the pace was.
When you get to the Open, it's fair to say a lot of these horses don't have weaknesses, right?
Yeah, but some of the the horses that might be just over nose of 25,000 and they're drawing the inside. So,
right.
You don't want to get beat by if they have real quick speed. You don't want to get beat by that speed early.
And what I'm saying is, with these horses, it's more of a mistake kind of loses the race versus the previous race we talked about, DT, where there's plenty of reasons why, the horse didn't come up. So this race is more, honestly, for the drivers.
Yeah.
Because the horses they're all together and just don't screw up. And
you just got to get your horse in the best spot where they can win.
Right.
You know what I mean? What's their trip?
Okay. So let's rock and roll with Herbie.
So going in, I just thought, it would be the 2 and the 4 leaving. So I kind of lay off the gate a little bit and then make sure he's trotting pretty good when the wings fold. And then right here, Tyler was going forward, and I'm like, ooh. Didn't see that coming. Because if he didn't leave, I'd have looped him.
Oh, yeah. So right now, just pause it. You're 4 wide, or 5 wide,
5 wide
because of Tyler. If you didn't, do you think he was leaving to kind of screw you a little bit?
No, he was, thinking, well, if I don't leave, I'm getting away 8th.
Right.
And if I do leave, what's going to, he's trying to get the best spot for his horse too. So, if he takes back the 8th,
then yeah,
he knows us two are leaving.
Right.
So he's, kind of, I didn't really see that coming. And, with Yonkers, where that turn comes up so quick that it messed my angle all up.
But probably if you were in Tyler's position, that's probably just leave enough to cause a little chaos for the outside guys, right?
Yep.
So now you're 5 wide. Andy's 6 wide. So now it's almost like he has to almost forfeit.
You know what? Like right here, I'm like, ugh, I wish I'd take him back.
You wish you had taken him back?
Yeah, because you know what? Like this is just getting to disaster.
Right.
I don't want to abuse him. That way next week he's no good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because, he does have some breathing problems sometimes. So, at this point I'm like, ugh, my bad.
Well, it is what it is. So let's go into the first turn.
That's in toward the inside, dash. Zooming's out 4 wide, a scramble on for the lead around the turn.
So right here, I thought I was going to get in front of Zeron, and then George, that mare got a little bit rough in the turn there, as she can sometimes, and I was, got lucky that I was able to, drop in 4th, and, right here, I'm like, wow, the one got out of there pretty well.
Sure.
A lot better than I thought.
Right. So 28 and 3,
kind of cheap.
That's kind of cheap, but probably that first 8th was pretty fast for you guys.
Yeah, and I left pretty hard, 5 wide there. So right now I'm kind of, sitting 4th, nice and tight. He feels good. Hoping I can stay in as long as possible.
Right.
Now, it puts me in a bad spot right now.
Say, pause it. So you know that George is behind you.
Yep.
Did you expect him to maybe force you out to pull, or were you expecting him to stay on the cones?
I would expect him to stay on the cones.
Okay, so you're not really in a rush.
She wasn't real tight on my back. You know what I mean? So, so he was probably kind of just trying to keep up.
So you were almost figuring at this point, I'm good till the 5/8.
Hoping.
Right, like that's when I'll have to probably make my move.
And now, right now, I'm like, you're thinking that Zeron, he's getting the 2. Second over perfect trip behind me.
Yes.
So, so here we go.
The trailer getting some support at 6-1, but he's 9 lengths from the lead.
So I'm trying to stay in as long as possible because I knew I used a little bit too much in the first 8.
Patrol the pocket at 19-1. In third with 3/8 to trot is dash.
Now you can hear Scott coming, right?
I heard him coming. Now I'm still waiting as long, hopefully get out of this turn.
Which it looks like you did, and now it's time to go.
Now he come really well without even me asking him.
Okay, so you just tip him, and that's what a good horse does.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting right to him pretty nice. Pretty easy, too. And I knew Jordan when he started asking through here. I said, wow, he's on the ropes here, too.
All right, pause it. So you see the horse in the 2-hole starting to gap out.
That's what he did 3 weeks ago, too, and he still come back and won. Newcastle did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we're trying pretty good.
Right. So you're gaining ground on Jordan, even though you're not up
in
to
the turn. Yeah.
Right into his turn. So are you feeling pretty good at this point?
Right here, I was thinking I had him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because Herbie can trot home like he did the week before. Pretty well. So right through here, I thought it was me and him, and Zeron wasn't tight on me at all. But I know his horse trots home pretty well. But right through here, I thought it was me and Jordan.
In third, as they arrive at the top of the stretch, Rock of Cashel's not doing enough. And then dash. They're into the stretch, and a tough and tenacious Springbank Sam turned us.
He didn't really. But I know he bleeds sometimes.
Yeah.
So maybe moving him 10 times in a race probably wasn't
5 wide.
It's probably we come home 28 and change. Which is okay for that group, that's not a super mile.
And it's pause it. It's another one of those. Your horse maybe should have been a little bit better, but it's also tough. That's a tough 5 wide first over. He still only got beat a length and 3/4 in the open. So it's
racing the way he really doesn't want to be raced.
Probably, I would say he had the most difficult trip.
Yeah, you know what? I've come first over with him twice, and it just has never worked out. And I knew I had myself in a bad spot at the half. I was going to have to move him again. You know, he's a favorite, so I mean, you've got to give him a shot. I mean, I can't, knowing him, I can't just sit him in there at the favorite. I got to race him for the betting public. I mean, that wouldn't look that nice to leave out of there and sit away fourth and just get, no racing room. So, I mean, you got to race him, and
it is what it is.
Wasn't the right move. My bad.
My
fault.
We're not giving you the cupcake answers. We want to talk about
I mean, so that that was on me. That's on me.
Can we quote you driver error?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have him in the right spot. That's for sure.
But would you say that it all kind of started with Tyler in that first turn?
Yeah, because I didn't realize it. You don't really realize what angle, because a lot of it's angles. Especially when you're leaving into the first turn with the turn so close, is that every little angle you can get, it helps you to get in front of that horse. And Tyler just pushing off a little bit to see what the race was, how it was going to develop. Frig my angle and Andy's angle up.
Yep.
So I mean, but what?
And Andy finished. Andy finished 7th. So it took. Andy finished 7th. You finished 4th. It's a tough spot.
If Tyler doesn't leave, I believe I cross right over in front of him. Then I get a 2-hole trip behind Spring Bank Sam, and I win the race.
Yeah, and maybe Andy's coming first over, and he's third or fourth.
Totally different race.
Totally different race. So.
Just by Tyler checking it out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sometimes you got to do
racing.
that.
I mean the worst. You know what's going to happen. Tyler's going to get away last, so he didn't really want to get away last.
And
with his own horse, so can't blame him.
You can't blame him. All right, let's move on.